First of all, my name's Krish, and I help young men improve their mental health. Just very quickly, top thing in the description is just my Discord username if you just want to add me. So, the real reason why you still have poor mental health, I'm not gonna waste your. It's simply just a lack of discipline. That's it. Because I remember 3-4 years ago, COVID lockdown first started. That was when my mental health was at an all-time low. Why? Why is that? Well, let's look at like a normal daily routine of eighth grade me, right? Wake up, sleep deprived, first of all. Wake up, immediately grab my phone, immediately start scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on TikTok. Usually, like, I wouldn't say it out loud, but I was trying to look for porn sometimes. But then, like, I got school, like, come on, like, I get up, have a shit, again, just be on my phone. I'd come down, I'd eat some random breakfast of like fucking chicken nuggets and like oatmeal or some shit. So, like my brain was just retarded, right? And at that time, we had online school. So instead of like going into classroom, like, like just being in normal school, we had online school, which is on Zoom, which is like kind of like the same schedule, but we had to just be on Zoom calls basically. Or like Google Meets or something like that. I don't know. And I remember the room that my parents gave me to like take these Zoom calls. Actually, for a long time, I didn't even have my own room, and so I didn't really have like a room to take calls or like do homework or anything like that. I should do it on like the dining table in our house. But my parents gave me like the computer room, which was like the room that had like the big like Mac computer. And so like I didn't use that because I was retarded and I didn't know how to use it. And so I just used like a little, like I got like a little brown desk, you know what I mean? That was like falling apart. It's like it had like one leg missing or something like that. And like I kept all my binders in there, I kept all my books in there, and I brought my shitty school Chromebook and I put it on top of the desk. And that's where I would spend most of my day. But I wasn't actually learning in school. No, 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 no. I wasn't learning. I'll tell you what I was doing instead. So usually in these like Google Meet classes or like Zoom classes or whatever, you need to keep your camera on, right? Because I guess that keeps students accountable. So like, oh, they're actually paying attention to the learning or whatever. So you have to keep your camera on. Now, obviously, I turned my camera off for like basically the whole time, right? And the teacher would keep saying to me like, yeah, come on, like keep your camera on, keep your camera on. Like we need to keep your camera on. Like come on, you gotta pay attention. I'm like yeah. But like I'm having some camera issues right now, so like I won't tell you. Like yeah, I wouldn't tell him. I would be like yeah, my camera's like not really working right now. Like my computer has some issues or something like that. Like sometimes they would buy it, and sometimes they would just be like, no, you have to turn your camera on. I still wouldn't listen, right? So let's talk about let's talk about what I was doing behind the camera. First of all, just being on my phone, just like looking at porn. Not even joking when I say that. I used to literally just like be on like TikTok, Instagram, even like fucking like Netflix and shit, just like looking at porn. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And that might sound like really, really weird, but it's true. So I used to be looking at that. I used to be just like scrolling on my phone, just like wasting time, right? The typical stuff. And I also used to jack off. Literally, I'm not even joking when I say that. I literally used to be like, I guess like in class, be on a Zoom call. Of course, like my mic was muted and shit. My camera was off. The teacher was like explaining like some algebra thing. And I used to be sitting there just like jerking off. That's it. Literally, by the way, I'm not even gonna lie to you. So that, that computer room that I was talking about, the one that my parents gave me so, I could like be in school, was literally right next to the kitchen. Who was in the kitchen at the time? Like most of the day at least? Well, my mom. Now, of course, there was of course like a divider and stuff, like there was like a curtain, and then like they put like a little like what do you call those like I don't know where they're like Japanese like dividers where it's like they like fold out and there's like 3 sections of them. It's kind of like a weird like door thing, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like they put that as well, like in between the room where I was staying, in between like the computer room and also like the kitchen, and then like next to the computer room was like a living room, like a separate little living room. So they put the divider there, so nobody could really see it. But still, imagine that. 8th grade me being so down bad, I used to literally jack off during Zoom calls during school, daily. Well, almost daily, right? Usually it'd be after school when I would do that. Why am I telling you this? Well, look at what I was doing at the time. I was jerking off every single day. I was watching porn multiple times a day, every single day. I was on my phone for most of the day. I was playing video games a lot of the time. I had poor relationship with my parents. I had friends who weren't really my friends, and I kind of still hated them, and also they kind of hated me. No wonder I had bad mental health at the time. Why? Because it comes down to just simply a lack of discipline. That's it. Lack of discipline is why you have poor mental health. It's not because of genetics. You know, like these people. I've talked to a lot of these people. They say like, oh no, you know, like my mental health is bad. Like it's because of genetics. It's because of this and because of this and that. I just ask them like, okay, well, what do you do with your time? Like, well, what do you do all day? Like what do you usually do like during the day? You know, they find it weird. Like I don't know why, but it's like I thought it was just common sense that like what you do during the day impacts how you feel and therefore your mental health. I thought that was just common sense, but like a lot of people, they think that that's just weird. Like I asked them that and it was like, what the hell? Like, why does that even matter? Lack of discipline. That's why. That's it. Lack of discipline. Because let me ask you this. Do you think a guy who works out every single day, who doesn't have any addiction to it, who doesn't use his phone for the entire day, he doesn't waste time playing video games, he doesn't like watch porn or anything, he eats clean, he has a good diet, he doesn't eat fucking seed oils and chicken nuggets and McDonald's, he has good, healthy relationships with his family, his friends, right? And he works on important work that also makes him money, that also is very purposeful, right? Do you think he's gonna be depressed? Now you might say like, no, but like Michael Phelps, he's like really successful and he had depression. Like these people, like you see all these people, they had depression, like there's millionaires who do, like, of course there are. Of course, like athletes and millionaires and stuff, of course they can have depression. Of course they can have like poor mental health. But that's for a different reason. It's not the same reason as you. The reason why you have poor mental health is right now, like I'm sorry to say this, but I used to do this too as well, right? I used to cope and be like, no, but look at all these like successful people who had like look at Michael Phelps and all these people. Now when I look back, what I would say to my younger self was like, yeah, okay, fine, but those people have a different reason for that. Your reason why you have shit mental health right now is not because of like genetics or something like you can't control. You got to take responsibility for that. You need to take responsibility for your lack of discipline, which is why you have depression. Look at what you do during the day. This is me speaking to my younger self. Look at what you do during the day. You fucking play video games for 16 hours every single day. You jack off like 2 times a day. And then like for some reason like we sit here and we're just like, oh no, you know, but like actually it's because of genetics. Like, no, it's not. This is me speaking to, again, my younger self, which if you're watching this far in the video, you can probably relate to him. Your lack of discipline is why you're depressed. It's not because of genetics. Genetics do play a part. Of course they do. I'm not saying they don't. You know, like someone's brain might produce like less serotonin or something like that. But that predisposition to that doesn't actually have to be like activated like fully 100%. It is activated by the things that you do and the choices that you make. It's really that simple. It's not that complicated. You just have to like level up your discipline. I should also probably make just a full guide to just like developing discipline, like step by step, because that's really important. It's just like improving mental health in general. And so when I had lack of discipline in my life, my mental health was shit. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was traumatized at the time as well, because, you know, like the COVID lockdown was going on. And my dad, he just had to like stay at home, and he wasn't exactly like the most kind person to us. But again, I'm gonna have to make a full video on that as well. But lack of discipline is, I know I keep, you might say like, oh, but you're repeating the same thing over and over again. Yeah, because you need to be reminded of this every single day. Your lack of discipline is why you have poor mental health. It's not because of anything else. You're not living like a happy, healthy human being. And then we live like unhealthy human beings. Then we sit here being like, oh, but why am I so depressed? Just look at what you do during the day. That's all I'm asking for. Look at what you do during your normal day. Does it look like how a happy, healthy human being would live? Probably not, right? Now, of course, there's people who like genuinely just have it, just because like they just do, because like genetics and whatnot. But for 99% of people, poor mental health is just because of bad habits, lack of discipline. That's it. how do you develop this discipline? Well, again, I'm gonna have to make a full like autistic step-by-step guide for that. But I think just a quick thing that I can give you is the definition of what discipline actually means. So discipline is not just about doing hard work. I thought that's what it was for a very, very long time. I thought like discipline was just like, oh yeah, like when I first learned about like improving mental health and self-improvement and all this other stuff, I thought discipline was like, oh yeah, you just like go to the gym and do stuff. And it's like kind of, I mean, like it's kind of right. But discipline is about just doing something that you don't want to do. That's it. So I'll give you an example, right? A few days ago, I had to wait, like I wake up pretty early in the morning, like between like 6 a.m., right? Around 6. Just a few days ago, I had to wake up and I had to train legs. Wake up first thing in the morning, literally do nothing. Like have a shit and like brush my teeth and whatnot. But that was the first like major task that day was train legs. A lot of guys hate leg training, and I guess like the right reason, because it's hard as shit. And that day I just absolutely had no desire to go, literally at all. Like I woke up, I was feeling like a little bit tired. I was like, oh man, I just can't be bothered at all. But even still, I got out of bed, even when I didn't want to. Turned on all the lights, like brush my teeth, like have a shower, whatever. Took a cold shower, which I also didn't want to do. Usually in the morning I just take a cold, because it just like wakes me up. It's not because like, oh yeah, I'm Sigma male, whatever the fuck that like cringe shit means. Just like, it just like feels nice. And so took that even when I didn't want to. I didn't feel like doing it at all. It was also like kind of cold, like a little bit cold that day. And so I was like, oh no, like I won't take it. Like I made a bunch of excuses, right? But I was like, nope, I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna get in. So I went in, did it. And then I went to the gym with my brother as well. And we hit legs even though we didn't want to. That right there was an act of discipline. Why? Because I didn't want to go to the gym and hit legs. I didn't want to take that cold shower, but I did anyway. Does that make sense? So discipline is about doing something that you don't want to do. Motivation, for example, like motivation is the feeling of wanting to do something. That's it. So I'm motivated to go to the gym. Like I'm motivated to go to the gym sometimes, of course. Like if I'm like training chest and back and stuff like that, like yeah, I'm super motivated. Like I really wanted to go. Of course it was still hard, but I still wanted to go anyway. Motivation is about the feeling of wanting to do, it's desire basically. So I want to go to the gym means I feel like going to the gym. What that means is I'm motivated to go to the gym. I'm motivated to go to the gym again. Means I feel like going. I use discipline to go to the gym means that I didn't feel like going, but I went anyway. Does that make sense? And so just like one thing I'll just give you, or at least to help me just develop a little bit of discipline, is to just focus on the small things. Because a lot of people think that discipline is doing the big workout, the big run at like 5 a.m. in the morning. Like, yeah, it could be. But a lot of discipline is just doing the small things that you don't, it's like cleaning up the mess on the floor, for example. Maybe it's like after you finish a meal, maybe it's like you just clean the dish even when you didn't want to. You still like, you got the soap, you got the scrubber, you clean the dish. Maybe it's that. Maybe, for example, you have to use discipline to like drink water. Like I remember like, I know that might sound like really, really weird and autistic, like what the fuck? But I remember like, I never used to drink any water at all. I used to like drink basically no water. I used to be just like dehydrated throughout the day. In fact, that reminds me, I should probably drink some water. Like a lot of people, they don't like the taste of water and shit like that, which doesn't really make sense to me. But it's the small little micro tasks that require discipline. That's actually how you like develop a lot of the discipline. Because hitting the big workout, doing the big run, doing like the big like movie like training montage like task or something like that, that does work, and I think that's still really important to like do those things. But daily discipline is not about doing that. Let me rephrase. It's about doing that, but it's also about doing like the small things. Cleaning up the mess on the floor, for example, cleaning your room. Maybe it's helping your mom like unload the dishwasher even when you didn't want to. Maybe it's like folding up all the clothes even when you didn't want to, washing the clothes when you didn't want to, doing the small things when you didn't even want to. And that's actually how you start to like develop just a little bit of discipline, is by just doing the small things. Because Right now, hitting like the workout, for example, it might not be that realistic. But what is realistic for you, instead of hitting like the 2 hour workout, maybe that's like, let's think about this in video games terms, right? To hit the 2 hour workout, basically you need to gain, let's say, you need 30 XP in the discipline skill, right? Right now you have like 1. So let's say like the 2 hour workout is like a level 30 dragon. You need 30 XP to fight that dragon, right? You need to start with like killing the low level animals first. So before you can hit that 2 hour workout, which is like that big bundle of experience, you need to pick up that piece of clothing on the floor and put it in the basket, put it in the dresser or something like that. Why? Because you just gain like 1 experience doing that. Perhaps you like, you help your mom unload the dishwasher even when you didn't want to. That's like 2 experience right there. You clean your room, that's like 5 experience. So you keep leveling up, you keep leveling up, you keep leveling up. And eventually like you could get to that 2 hour workout. Maybe it's like you hit 1 push-up literally today, for example. That's like, you just gained 3 experience doing that. You hit 10 push-ups instead, you just gain like 5 experience. 15 push-ups, you gain like 7 experience. You see what I mean? You gotta progressively overload it up. And so like basically like, I guess there's like a science behind this, but that's really it. That's just a little like quick thing. I'll probably have to make like a full guide to this because it's like there's so much nuance, but that's just a little thing I'll give you. It's just focus on like the littlest tiny things. Picking up that piece of clothing on the floor, cleaning your room a little bit. Literally, I'm not even joking when I say this. Literally, you picking up that piece of clothing off the floor and putting it in the bin, that's progress right there. That is progress. That actually is. Literally, you just like making your bed, for example. Maybe that's an act of discipline, right? Even when you didn't want to. Literally just making your bed, that's an act of progress right there. And that's huge. Even if you just do the small things, you've already made progress, however small. So again, hope this video helps you. Take care.